Hey everyone, Angelo here from Next Level Running Coaching. Today we're going to be going over another article here from Runner's World, the May 2021. This one happens to be about the topic for some runners, less mileage is more. And this is written by Emilia Benton. And it's on page 24 and goes to page 26, and I have the details up there. I like how she starts off the article right away by saying in today's social media, pretty much she's saying that people get caught up in what other people are doing and end up trying to compete, and got a sticker here, and essentially end up doing more mileage than they should be. And I kind of can see that happening, but I want to know if that's actually true for you. Do you get caught up in seeing what other people are doing and thinking, oh, I have to do more? For me, that's where the last episode or video I did talked about training, having a training plan that actually will help you steer and stay to what is true to you. What I also like to point out is this topic here. She asks a question, could some runners just be suited for lower mileage training cycles? And I would have to say yes, some people are better at or get better results by running less mileage than those who may need to do more mileage. And there's a portion in here that talks about who she did some research on to figure out whether that was true, and the idea was that some people have more fast twitch muscles versus slow twitch muscles. Do I agree with that? I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I do know that there are fast twitch muscles and slow twitch muscles, and I'm sure they do play a role into it, but she further goes to say that it's very hard to understand what the ratios are. And here's where I think this article is really cool and is really something that you should read, is that there are ways to figure out whether less mileage or more mileage will work for you. I'm going to talk about one, and then I'm going to talk about how I think it should be done as well, because the first thing here that she talks about is using a race predictor. And you can actually find that Peter Regal actually created a pace predictor that we use in Next Level Running Method. And it's pretty cool because we use that to start everybody off, and that's how we establish paces in our program. And from there, what she's saying in the article is, let's say that you take a 5K, you run a 5K, and you run a certain time. You plug in those numbers in the pace predictor, and from that you could get your equivalent, what you should be able to run for a marathon. Now, this race predictor or pace predictor is not very accurate. Well, it's accurate, but it doesn't necessarily mean that those are the results that you're going to get. But it's a baseline we can use, and that we do use to say, okay, here you ran a 5K, here's where you should be able to run a half marathon, assuming that you've done the training for a half marathon. Meaning that you've built up the endurance. If you've just trained for the endurance of a 5K, you can't expect to go out there and run a half marathon at that same pace. You have to do the training for that. But essentially, you should be able to do you should be able to hit that pace. So the point that she's trying to make here with the race predictor is that if you are predicted to run, let's say you run a 5K at a certain pace and you're predicted to run a marathon at this pace, and you are slower than that pace, then it may indicate that you have more fast twitch muscles than slow twitch muscles. And if you have If you're running faster, maybe you have more slow twitch muscles than you do have fast twitch muscles. That's probably true. I can't really say that for sure. For me, at Next Level Running, we do it a little bit different. We use the race predictor to kind of assess where our paces are going to be, and then we adjust near the end of the season in our taper period. But what we like to understand when we're doing a training program is, one, can you actually run the distance? Can you actually run a half marathon, 5K, whatever it is, the event that you want to do? And two, can you actually run the pace that you want to? And it doesn't, can you run even 1 mile at the pace that you want to run your half marathon at? If you do, then we know you have the speed, we know you have the endurance. Now we just need to work on combining the two, which is where tempo runs and speed workouts come in, because in order to keep that pace at that distance, you have to be training at paces, at that pace or even faster at longer intervals in order to be able to run that pace. And that's how we develop things. So, but we also want to avoid burnout, and so it's a play, because if you can run, like I know a lot of people in our training programs who don't want to be able to run a marathon before they actually do a marathon. They just want us to get them to a point, because to train entirely like doing a marathon every week, to build up your endurance so that you are, like adapted to that distance, that doesn't work for everybody. And neither does even, there's a certain sweet spot for each person. And I like what they do say in this article, is that we advocate this so much, that running is truly individualized, meaning this is your journey and you have to figure out what works for you, and we advocate this so much. Going back to the article, I like this part here because lifestyles do matter, and there's a whole section about lifestyle. If you're a professional athlete, you can put in more mileage because you can get the rest in. You have nutritionists that probably help with you. Again, this is for elite runners. You can spend time foam rolling as much as you need and do all the proper things in order to have a well-balanced running program. For some of us, that's not realistic, and to get foam rolling in may not be possible. Sometimes we have work, and by the time we get out, we want to squeeze a run in. We don't have time to go do all the stretches and everything that we would really like to do. We just need to get out there and do the run and then be done. So we have to take that into consideration, and we may have to adjust, because we may not be able to do the mileage. We may be physically able to do the mileage, but our lifestyle does not allow for that mileage. So we have to adapt to the lifestyle that we have. And maybe a marathon is, like right now, a marathon is not in my lifestyle. Right now, I'm training for a 5K. Eventually, I can move up to a 10K, and I'm trying something different, but that's besides the point. Right now, in order to do a marathon the way that I know my body works, would be so much work that it's not realistic. And even a half marathon is pushing it. 5K, 10K in my current lifestyle is more realistic. So at least if I'm expecting to do pretty good or perform well. So again, another article here, back to back, right after the previous one. Really good article. I think they did a good job explaining things here, and it's really applicable to everybody's running, and it does coincide with the theories of Next Level Running method. Now, circling around to the topic here, how do we put this all together, is that her conversation revolved around the beginnings of, do we get caught up in social media and try to run like other people rather than what works best for us? So that's, again, going back to where I said a training plan is so important, because if you have a plan and you can stick to it, then you will less likely be persuaded by social media or other events out there that may try to distract you and take you away from what you're doing. And if you don't have a running plan, definitely get one. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Angelo Santito. I am a coach here at Next Level Running. Please make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications and like this video if you are liking these reviews. We are going to be doing reviews of all the things that are put out there on running, and we're going to give you our 2 cents, or I'm going to give you the 2 cents that I think apply to Next Level Running method. I got a comment the other day on wanting to dive in deeper, so tomorrow I am going to dive in deeper on the actual running plan on the previous article and kind of take it apart and explain what I like about it and what I don't like about it. If there's something that you would like me to go over in today's article, please let me know. If there's something out there that you want me to review and put it up against the Next Level Running method, feel free to comment or send me a message, and I will make sure that I review it and give you my 2 cents. So until next time, happy running.